Something we use in business all the time.
It's iterative development, iterative creation, iterative creativity. I'm really curious about how some of these guys would be today, because John Adams, like you quoted earlier, said, "I study politics and war, so my sons can study
math and science. So
and
their son can study art and poetry.
So I wonder how it'd be if John Adams, say, was born in a time like the poetry and art space, like if his ambitions would change
With universal basic income, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I would almost say that we're kind of in that space that he envisioned at the end of his sentiment, because a lot of like he.
All right. We are back at it again.
Back on Founders Drive, where we're talking about our drive, other founders drive, while we drive. It's triple entendre. Don't even ask me how.
Entendres are great. I feel like we lean into those quite a bit. Alliteration.
Yeah.
Entendres.
I have this theory that the reason why, and this isn't like a revolutionary theory or anything like that, but the reason why things like alliteration, rhyming, groups of three are good.
Rhetorical devices? Or?
Yes, is that they trigger our patterning.
Yeah, 100%.
You know,
your inner LLM.
And there you go. And you're like, you start predicting something that's worth remembering is being said. Let me pay attention to. Like that's what
someone's prompting me.
Yeah. Like when you hear something like Big Beautiful Bill, politics aside, those 3 B's, the triple B's,
sticks,
like LeVar Ball, triple B's, those are
big ball of brand.
The big ball of brand.
That's right.
Big Beautiful Bill. Like that stuff, it triggers something subtle in us. And if you can chain those together, then it starts to become really interesting, and mix it with other rhetorical devices. This whole book on rhetorical devices that I read once and haven't picked back up. So
I'm sure you internalize quite a bit of it.
Yeah, but I think there's another level of command that you get when you routinely practice it.
Yeah.
Where you're like, yo, I'm going to drop in some alliteration right here.
That's true.
Now. You know, another thing is like with repetitive, with repetition.
Yeah.
Repetition is persuasive.
It is.
But I think disguised repetition is another thing that allows you to repeat even more.
Well, what do you mean by that?
So if I say disguised repetition is something that allows you to repeat yourself even more, I could say that with a different phrasing. And that phrasing still repeats the essence of what I mean without saying the exact same one. So it allows you to say, I could say it allows you to say the same thing multiple times. Which is, again, means the same thing as repeat yourself more, but it sounds slightly different. I saw it say that multiple times.
I feel like I find myself doing that on accident sometimes, where I'm like, well, hopefully they got what I was saying, so let me just try saying it a different way. Like I'm just trying to communicate clearly.
Yeah.
And so I end up just being repetitive in some of the words I say.
Yeah, I like
or phrases
with stuff like that. To me, it's really interesting because we can all do it, and so we think that everybody could just. When you're doing things good, it's like, everybody can do this.
Yeah.
Which is not always the case. And it feels like we can't optimize and do it better because we're used to doing it a certain way. Like, that really keyed into me with running.
Oh.
Where when I would run, I didn't realize how much more efficient I could get back my track days until I realized, I might have bad habits that I've just habitualized. And I don't know what it feels like to get better. But coming back to like the writing and the speaking and stuff like that, that's like it's a skill. It's a skill.
It is a skill. Hey, you talked about it being revolutionary.
Yeah.
You know what else is revolutionary?
Oh, the founding fathers.
The founding fathers.
Well, and something that was coming to mind as I was saying that is Thomas Jefferson.
Oh, okay.
And he's the known as the writer of the Declaration of Independence.
Yeah, the author.
The author of the Declaration of Independence. And I like a big part of it is he just wrote a lot. Like all of these guys wrote a lot, studied the language and studied their craft and recognized the power of communicating in politics and developing a mind for war and going after what you want, organizing around principles and creating a framework. And that doesn't, we see a lot of the founders through the lens of, hey, they helped start America.
Yeah.
And helped us declare independence. But I think there's an angle where we look at them as actual founders, like under the common parlance of today.
Entrepreneurship.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I think that's an interesting discussion, I think.
Yeah, they have like these habits that you would find in some of the most successful founders today.
Yeah.
Right? Like they had to do their own version of marketing. They had to do their own version of, self-optimization habits.
Yeah.
And then like documentation. And then like, it's interesting because when you write stuff down like that in such a consistent manner over, 50, 60 years, you can start seeing like the processes develop.
Yeah.
Throughout like their life where they're like, hey, I'm paying attention to this, I'm paying attention to that. I think one of the founding fathers, Benjamin Franklin, was like known for keeping a journal of his virtues and like scoring himself every day on these 13 virtues. And then you can see over the course of time it getting, ups and downs and swings, and when things are going well, how he was feeling, how things weren't going well, how he was feeling. Like, it's very interesting because I feel like, some of the most successful people today do that exact same thing.
How would you break down like the core founding fathers? Like, give me a label, give me like a short impression that you have of these guys. We started with Benjamin Franklin. He's like the self-optimizer. He's like life hacker. This guy that's continuously trying to get better.
Yep. I think they were all doing that, but he was like known for that.
Yeah, that was his name.
Exactly. And they all kind of do these things, but if there was like one thing that like they're known for, like you had just mentioned Jefferson being the author, right? Being able to pen all men are created equal, all that stuff. And
it's a bar. He had bars.
I think he also, if I'm not mistaken, had like a chip on his shoulder. I think he was coming from immigrant parents. And the way that he got out of his situation was by writing so eloquently about a dorm.
Was it Hamilton? Yeah, but he was also like, they were all writers.
They were all writers, like really proficient writers, even at young ages. So I think it might have been Hamilton then. I think he got out of this situation by writing like a really nice piece about some hurricane and the damage it caused. And someone was like, hey, like you should go to school for this.
They're like, that's the guy.
Yeah.
That's the guy. We're gonna
at like a super young age.
We're backing you, man. Like it was like 10,000 word description of like they said that he would do like 10,000
in a single sitting.
So like part of me is like, would they actually be like that in today's day and age?
Yeah, it's also interesting
because how much of the time leads itself to.
The other thought I had was like back in like what I imagine like Rome, where it's like, oh yeah, we're gonna write scripture, but it's like you're dictating to a bunch of people who are actually writing.
Like that's such a great writing session. Oh my god, that was amazing.
Wow, I did so good. It's like your hand hadn't touched paper in forever, but
I'm exhausted. I'm exhausted. These guys are like chipping in.
Exactly.
Like your words.
But no, I think
hieroglyphs.
I think they actually did write. I think they were actually the ones putting pen to paper, and I think there's a whole bunch of stuff that they were able to learn doing that. Let's see, another founding father.
John Adams.
John Adams. So John Adams, I have to do a little bit more research on his backstory, but there is a single quote that I do remember that I think, we've seen it today, right? Where it's, strong men create good times create weak men create hard times create strong men.
Yeah.
His quote was, I study war and politics so that my sons can study mathematics and psychology, so that their sons can study art and poetry. He had that lineage view of like, I'm living in these historic times right now. I need to be able to set myself up and my future generations up for success by making sure that I'm taking advantage of every single thing I can do in the moment.
Yeah, he had a big, he had a lot of FOMO.
Another big reason I think why he decided to write was like, I need to capture what I know to be the most historic things happening in the world right now, and I'm in the middle of it. And if I'm not, I need to get myself in the middle of it.
Right. Which is so intriguing to have that wherewithal and that presence of mind to be like, hey, this is it. Like, this is something revolutionary that's happening, and I want to document everything.
Yeah.
I want to make sure that I am part of the big decisions. I need to steer myself in that space. I think there's parallels to every like the way that they handled themselves and navigated back then, and the way that we navigate the world right now in terms of documentation.
Yeah.
Whatnot.
In terms of like doing that with a presence of mind about the future, I think another one that comes to mind is like Washington, like George Washington, being the figurehead for this great country, the first one ever. He had the wherewithal to know that like people are going to be writing history books about me. I'm going to be like framed and going to be in these books where people are going to have to judge my decisions. And so when he was asked, hey, like, let's keep this thing going, third term, fourth term, he was like, no, like, the history books aren't going to look well on that, and that's not why we founded this whole thing. So I have now the presence of mind to say, no, I'm not doing another term.
That's like real legacy thinking.
It is extreme legacy thinking.
Yeah.
Which makes me think, like, what do the founders of today drive? Like, what drives them? Like, why is Elon making the decisions he makes?
Bro, I heard somebody say that somebody was like, oh, no, it's from the Tom Billiard.
Oh, yeah.
Podcast. Somebody, or one of his co-hosts was talking about this theory that Elon's companies, not really a theory, but they made it more concrete.
Yeah.
About his pursuits and his drives and how they all align with him getting to Mars. Everything from robots going over there and terraforming it to the satellite infrastructure that you need to go over there and have the communications that we have here, to the Boring Company doing all of the digging of the tunnels, to artificial intelligence being able to use this, being able to be used as a source to terraform the whole space and do all the things that they're doing right now.
Right.
It was really interesting to hear it that clear. Like, oh no, if you look at all the pieces, they're all there for a reason. He is thinking with the end in mind. But the reason why I think Elon is really interesting, relevant to this discussion too, is he is he's a person who studied Ben Franklin specifically, as the founding fathers. And when I read the biography on Ben Franklin a while back, the Walter Isaacson one, you can see a lot of through lines between what Elon does and how he approaches things and how Ben Franklin approaches things. I think Elon's probably a little bit more,
global,
and also extreme in his endeavors. But I also think that they would get along well.
What's interesting to me about his entire kind of pitch is the fact that a lot of it centers around saving the human race.
Or making sure that humans survive for as long as possible, whether that be on Earth or interplanetary or underground if we need to. Like, he's very, very into this whole idea that, like, we need to keep the human race going. Like, he's also a big proponent of, like, the population decline and talking about that stuff. And it makes me think that he may be positioning himself right now for a future that he knows is coming, where there is an existential threat.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh, hey, like, we need to back the guy that's been saying humans forever. Instead of pausing when you're asked, hey, should humans exist? Like Peter Thiel.
Yeah, I think that's like, we talk about drive.
Yeah.
We talk about what drives founders, and that was reason to raise some eyebrows. When somebody asks you, hey, man, like, do you think that humans should exist? And you respond,
let me think.
Like, yeah, we're gonna get a little worried, especially when you're one of the biggest defense contractors in the world and you're making automated weapons.
Right.
Like, some people are making automated AI agents that can act autonomously and book you a trip. He's making automated AI agents that are going to go and kill somebody.
Yeah, exactly.
Which, I'm not being naive, that's an important part of
American supremacy, to be honest.
Well, to be honest, and it's just core people. Like, people fight, people want to to make a claim for something, and another person wants to do it, so
Yeah.
they fight for that.
Right.
That's something that's a tale as old as time.
Yep.
But I don't know, the reaction that he had was a little bit, I don't even want to say it's unexpected, but it was shocking to see it.
And then it makes me question, like, what drives him?
What drives him?
What is that driving force? What is the thing that makes him get out of bed every morning? That the future that he sees, that he keeps trying to push towards. I think it's not humans necessarily, not full humans.
Not
Not
necessarily. I think that also goes back with Larry Page and Elon when they had that discussion.
True.
And Larry Page was like, I don't know. I mean, maybe this thing that isn't invented yet, that I'm bringing into the world and that I'm inventing, should have the same amounts of rights as people today.
That's very interesting.
I think, yeah. So coming back to it, I think thinking with the end in mind, essentially something that seems to be a through line between some of the most successful people today and some of the most successful people in the past.
Yeah, and then looking at that and examining it, and then doing it introspectively. Look at yourself. Why are you getting out of bed every morning? What future do you see that you're trying to achieve each and every day? And if you're not, why?
Yeah.
You know?
If you can't articulate or at least contemplate verbally what's actually driving you to make your decisions, I don't want to say that it makes me lose trust, but it makes me lose trust.
If you're doing that, you are on autopilot. Wake up. You are on autopilot.
Or you're hiding some shit.
Maybe, but then you're doing it intentionally.
And so I think if you're having an honest conversation with yourself, you can tell yourself why you're doing things, because you know you plan that stuff out. You're hiding stuff, intentionally.
Okay, what do you think is worse? Like the hiding of it or the not knowing it?
It's 100% not knowing. It's 100% not taking the time
to sit down for even 15 minutes and think about your life, where you're going, where you want to be, and then how you can get there. Like, there is so much stuff happening in the world and in life every single day that we start getting distracted. We start, getting anxiety about things that haven't happened yet. We start overthinking. We start doing things that aren't really aligned with why we wake up every morning and get out of bed and what energizes us.
Yeah.
And that version of autopilot is, to me, the worst thing you can do, because that's where decades start to slip away from you. Literal decades start to slip away from you. And you wake up one day and go, wow, I have all this regret. I didn't actually achieve what I know I could have achieved. And that's probably one of my things that I don't ever want to have when I'm older, right? Is this regret that, I should have pushed harder, I should have done more, I could have done more, and I didn't.
You want to leave it all out there?
Yeah.
Regret minimization.
Exactly.
That's something that Bezos talks about a lot, is regret minimization. And I resonate with that a lot, man. I think regret is like the negative side of gratitude.
Okay. What do you mean by that?
So when something happens and you have like an opportunity to go to an event and you decide not to, and you find out later that one of your potential clients was there, or somebody that you really admired was there,
right?
And you could have met that person. That person did like a meet and greet. There weren't a lot of people that showed up because it was raining outside.
Yeah.
And this person said, hey, I'm gonna sit here and I'm gonna talk with everybody individually. I'm gonna take pictures. I'm gonna exchange information, numbers, and you missed out on it, but your friend went, and now your friend is in with this person who, and it developed a relationship with this person who could do a lot for their career, but just they genuinely connected because they had that time to create that moment.
Yeah.
And so now you're like, dang it, man, like, I regret not going. I wish I would have went. And that's a feeling that I think a lot of people can relate to, even if it's not exactly that scenario.
Yeah.
Now,
100%.
Now, gratitude on the flip side is when you say, man, I don't really want to go, but you go, and it's not ideal, but you go, and let's say the same thing ends up playing out, and you end up saying, yo, I am so glad that I went. I didn't want to go, but I did it. and now I'm thankful. It's like that's the feeling. I think a lot of times people will say, be grateful, be grateful, be grateful, but they're not anchoring that in a real situation where you can relive those emotions. And I think the easiest way to understand how gratitude feels so you can actually practice that gratitude is understanding how regret feels. And when people are saying regret minimization, the inverse of that to me is gratitude maximization. Where you're like, I thought, like, I didn't want to do that thing, I did it, and I feel like, yo, that was the best decision I did. I'm so happy I did that because of all these other benefits that are coming to me right now. And so, like, when I hear Jeff Bezos say, like, regret minimization is something that he tries to do, when I hear you talk about that, that to me is where, that's how I'm parsing that in my head. That's something that I've learned to, like, that's how I've learned to understand.
Gratitude is such an amazing force too, because I think it takes that amount of introspection to think about, you know, why you're grateful, what you're grateful for, and not just on Thanksgiving, but like every day, waking up and realizing that stuff.
And it's like really putting yourself in that feeling.
Yeah.
Not like I'm thankful, but like if I didn't have this, like how much would that suck?
Yes.
Like how much would that really suck? And going into that, because I think gratitude is felt most strongly when it's next to regret.
Yes.
And I think we have powerful imaginations. That's one of the functions of how we should use our imaginations to drive us. It's like that's how we get the engine going. That's how we turn the keys to our minds, is through using our imagination to say, hey, let me experience some regret, let me experience some gratitude, and let me find out where I want to align myself for the day, the week, the month, the year, life, whatever.
Yeah, and you just touched on it right there, and something I wanted to just quickly add to that is the fact that it gets the engine going. It's like your starter in your car. It only does work for the first 5 or 10 seconds of when you're getting your car started.
Yeah.
This moment, this feeling that you're going to have with gratitude and regret, only sit in that for a very limited amount of time. And then, like you said, use it to push you forward.
Yeah.
Then get out of that mindset and then get into, okay, let's hustle, let's get this thing done.
Put that pedal down.
Exactly. And so don't get into this mind where you're just always in that state of being. And it's just like, oh, I'm either regretting or gratitude or, you know, staying in that introspection. You have to break out of it and then actually get stuff done, because that only then informs that feedback loop of progress.
The engine doesn't drive the car, you got to drive the car.
Exactly.
The engine will start it up for you.
Exactly.
I like to think of like imagination as your image engine.
Ooh, yeah, I can see that.
It's like the thing that, you know, it like drives us a lot. Like, a lot of times when you're hungry, you'll get like a flash. And I don't mean image in terms of just the visual image. I mean image as
all senses.
Yeah, it's like a copy of the thing that's out there.
Yes. Use all of your senses.
Yeah.
Imagine what it would taste, smell, feel, think, like all of those. It is how you create that really powerful imagery.
Yeah. But back to these founding fathers.
Yes. Because they had all this stuff. I think they did this stuff each and every day, which then let them become such titans of America.
They created America.
Yeah.
Like, being a founder is another interesting concept because, like, the word found. Like, it's like you found something that's worth pursuing.
Yeah.
You know, and I'm Canadian. I was born in Canada. I'm American now.
That's right.
My parents are from Uganda, and we, like, my family, one generation immigrated through multiple countries to get here. Yeah. And a lot of it is off of the promise of opportunity and what the founding fathers promised.
Yeah.
Now, I'll be the first person to say that it wasn't perfect when they brought the declared independence, created the Articles of Confederation, and then the U.S. Constitution. It wasn't perfect, but it allowed for the space to become better. And I think that when I look at American history, we've been trending towards the better. It's like we've been, like they say, the moral compass bends towards justice and like the good qualities. I don't know if it just does it on its own. I think it takes people, but inherent in the agreement of being an American, I think, is moving towards a better society.
Yeah. And
I think, something that everyone should be looking to idolize, right? Because, and the one way we do that is without kings. You know, we don't need kings. We don't need a bloodline of people that have all the power.
Yeah.
I'm sure it's concentrated in other ways, but the continuous iteration is super important too. Allowing that space to grow and refine.
Yeah.
It's something we use in business all the time.
It's iterative development, iterative creation, iterative creativity. I'm really curious about how some of these guys would be today, because John Adams, like you quoted earlier, said, I study politics and war, so my sons can study
Math and science. So
And
their sons can study art, poetry.
So I wonder how it would be if John Adams, say, was born in a time like the poetry and art space. Like if his ambitions would change.
With universal basic income, yes.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I would almost say that we're kind of in that space that he envisioned at the end of his sentence. Because a lot of, like, even content creation right now isn't art and war, or isn't politics and war.
Yeah, not math and science.
And even the way to gain political power is through, like, a lot of the content creation mediums, which we've seen this past election. It's like podcasts was the path to the presidency.
We have a lot of technology that is able to allow people to work on things that aren't just plowing the fields and shooting people in war, right? Like it's evolved to the space where then everything starts to become art and poetry, the marketing, the branding, the storytelling. That all starts to become art and poetry when you no longer have to do the menial labor that he had to do in the 1700s.
So you're saying that because of the times, we interpret our activity through art and poetry and expression, et cetera, creativity and all of that.
Yeah, I think that technology has enabled us to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Technology has enabled us to do that.
Yep. To be able to see, specifically with, like, say, building software. Oh, that's a craft. That's an artwork. That is poetry in motion.
Well, that's how I speak a lot too. So I'm thinking about that. I'm like, would I speak differently back then?
You might. It's also you probably wouldn't have access to the kinds of literature and the kinds of psychology or philosophy that you probably have today.
Yeah.
All of these people that we're able to learn from and then pass on some of that stuff here is, because they came before us and they were able to document that stuff. Back then, they were the ones documenting it.
Yeah.
So you have to have wherewithal without predecessors to do that for you.
Yeah. Look, man, I'm so curious about some of this, because I'm obsessed with skill development, training, learning, education, all of that stuff. I know that Thomas Jefferson spoke six languages.
Yep.
He also was a very, very intentional with his note taking. He got up, took an ice bath
every single day for 60 years. He would dunk his feet in ice,
dipped his feet in ice, and that's
in the morning.
And that is a cold bath, cold shower in the morning. I don't even know how you learned that.
Yeah,
but he attributed that to his great health.
Yeah, but only his feet.
Yeah,
not the full body
or the face.
Or you said not the face?
No, I mean like
he would have put his whole
Shannon
face.
Hall.
Yeah. So yeah, he did like the whole cold plunge is equivalent of it. He would write for an hour a day, and then throughout the day he would take notes on things that he was observing, etc., and then he would copy them into his notebooks at the end of the day.
Yep.
And that's, to me, is like a second brain. It's not a coincidence that he was somebody he was the author of the Declaration of Independence, because he was always writing. And you develop a pen when you write.
Yes.
And that's something that literally anybody can take reference point from. I have a friend who's a super good rapper. He is actually on the intro song of this podcast, but he always is writing, and he's always writing in different ways and capturing different bars, and you see that turn into something that is a song but it's a continuous process. And when I look at somebody like Jefferson, I'm like, that makes sense. That makes
Yeah.
sense. He had this idea of a second brain, of a note system way back then, and that was a large part of what prepared him for the moment.
And that's also a big reason why we developed some of these tools on constants.
I mean, 100%.
You know what I mean? Like,
100%.
and that's the stuff we're about to talk about in this next podcast, in the super secret podcast that you can only find on constants, is how to get as good as the founding fathers with the tools built with technology of today.
Ooh, I have a couple things. On that. But I'll also say another thing too, because I have to add a caveat. These guys weren't perfect. Right?
True, of course.
And I think the thing is I think there's situations and circumstances that we find ourselves in, and it might cap potential, it might not. And I think that's something. Those are the things that we can't control. And so the thing that I'm speaking to is the whole idea of like they didn't invite women or minorities to some of these constitutional conventions that they had.
A lot of white men. A lot of them.
But what I will say is that even when you have your moments, you still have to be prepared. There might have been another white man in there who took Thomas Jefferson's spot.
Sure.
Because he was like, if Thomas Jefferson wasn't as prepared, he would have taken his spot. But I think that also extends to knowing the time and knowing the moment and being like, okay, what are my opportunities and what can I be prepared for? Because I never know how this is going to shape history, and especially if we can keep in mind like Adams or Washington and saying, no, I think that something monumental is happening right now, and I'm going to position myself and make sure that my decisions are reflected in the future in a way that aligns with what I actually want. Then we start doing things that can impact history and impact future generations in a real way. And it might not be as glorified in the moment, but history has a way of authoring itself.
And just like for anyone watching this who doesn't think that they're on the global scale of Elon or Bezos or the founding fathers, like this also applies for you every single day. AI is here now.
Yes.
There's things here that is historically never happened before. It's the first time we're ever having these kind of tools.
Yeah.
And so, leaning into that and finding a way to improve yourself in this historic moment with these historic tools and advancements is a way that you can actually take what we're talking about and apply it to your everyday life.
Big bet. So let's jump into that super secret.
All right, check it out on constants.com, where we're going to jump into getting as good as the founding fathers with the technology of today.
Peace out.